What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. And guys, like the video, give a big thumbs up and YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe because I release great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. Now guys, continuing our coverage on the evil Batman from Dark Knight's Metal, we pretty much did Red Death, we did the Murder Machine, we got Batman Who Laughs, Devastator down, but now we're going into Batman the Drowned. Now, this is pretty much like the Aquaman and Batman hybrid. So it's actually a woman too. So out of all these evil Batmans, there's 7 of them, 6 of them are men, and then this is the one woman one. And guys, she's pretty much, she was like a Batwoman, fought crime, and then modified herself to become like an Atlantean. So it's actually a pretty interesting story that I'm going to tell you guys. Enough this intro, let's get you Batman the Drowned, number 1. So guys, first off, we got this dope cover right here, and guys, this cover shows like, her name is Bryce Wayne, and she's the Batman the Drowned, and she's all going up to the surface, she's like fully weaponized, and below her is like these hands, like dark hands reaching up to her, which is actually like the bottom of the sea. It's actually pretty creepy, but very fascinating cover. But guys, it's drawn very well and actually shines too. But as we continue, the whole story starts out, and you see pretty much her hands, and she's trying to get to the surface. And she talks about this love interest that she had, Sylvester. Now guys, Sylvester, it was pretty much her love interest that died. He was killed by criminals and meta-humans on her Earth. And you see her going to the surface, but this isn't the Dark Multiverse, guys. The book actually opens up with her in our world. So the world where Batman is, where Superman is, where Wonder Woman is, and it starts out here, she's at Amnesty Bay, and guys, that place is pretty much where Aquaman was for like his childhood. Because as you remember, Aquaman, Arthur Curry, was with his dad because his mom pretty much was down in Atlantis, and eventually he claimed the throne in the whole Throne of Atlantis arc, fighting off pretty much Ocean Master. It's actually a pretty cool storyline. But you see her, and she's there at Amnesty Bay, and she's smiling, she wants to drown the whole place. And you see her pretty much unleash these things called dead wires. Now these pretty much like creatures, kinda like the Trench. If you know who the Trench are, they're pretty much like these, like scary creatures in Atlantis, but these ones are controlled by her. So she controls this dead water. Now she releases it kills all these mariners, all these people at sea, and you see her just destroying everything. She's walking through the ocean, and she's taking it over, and it's like, it's time that I drown this place, drown this world. She's trying to carry out the plans of Barbados. Now guys, one other thing, I've heard people saying Barbados is pronounced Barbados, but I'm not pronouncing it like that, because Barbados, I feel like sounds cool. Like Barbados, maybe, but I feel like Barbados is better. We see her walking through, and then all of a sudden, that's where Aquaman and Mera show up, and Aquaman's like, I don't know what the hell you are, but this stops now. And that's exactly what he says, guys. He comes through on the creature, and he's actually going after her. Mera's at his side, and they're gonna attack her because, like, Batman the Drowned, or Bryce Wayne, we'll just call her Bryce, she's pretty much going on Atlantis and trying to destroy it in a way, so that's not good for them. But this whole storyline is called In Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which guys actually looked up. It's actually like an old folktale, which that's a cool reference. And you have the artists, which is Philip Tan and Tyler Kirkman. And guys, they're not like all-star level artists, like it's not George Chamez or Francis Manfall, but it's still a pretty solid art. And you have the writer, which is Dan Abnett. And guys, his writing, like, I'm not a big fan of it because sometimes his writing can be like top level, but then sometimes his writing can be really bad. Like I've read some of the stories and they're just really generic. But we continue, and we see pretty much Bryce go against Aquaman. Aquaman goes to attack her, and Bryce pretty much kills these creatures, slashes them, uses her dead water, takes over them, and Aquaman gets beat the crap out. Now guys, this is big, because Aquaman, he's actually pretty powerful. I know a lot of people say, oh, he's the guy who talks to fish, he's not that powerful. No, he's actually like standing toe-to-toe with Superman. Like guys, in that first Rebirth storyline, when they fought, that was a big deal. That showed how powerful Aquaman was, and to see Bryce is kind of like just dismantle him and beat the crap out of him is like huge. Then we see Mera, she's like, I'll use my telekinesis for water telekinesis, but it doesn't work. Bryce actually has better control of the water than Mera, and this isn't even her own Earth, so it's a big deal. But you see pretty much Mera, she's trying to do it, she's like, the water won't obey me, she's getting beat the crap out, and then Aquaman's like, no, stop, and he goes to attack Bryce again, but then we shift to her origin story. So we kind of get cut off mid-fight, and we go to Earth 11 in the Dark Multiverse. Now we see that pretty much Bryce, her origin story, her love interest, Sylvester, he died with the metahumans and the criminals, and she's fighting crime, she's ridding the world of all the bad darkness, all like the bad people, and she was doing a good job until the Atlanteans came along, and it was actually Aquawoman. When you see Aquawoman, she has all these creatures, and she has like a whole army, and Bryce is like, I was already concerned. Like, I planned out for this. Pretty much, this is like Batman, but just a woman. That's all it is. But you see her playing for everything, and she's like, I plan to just kill them and destroy them, but I was going to give them a chance. But that didn't work out. Pretty much, the Atlanteans tried to use diplomacy to their factor, like try to talk to Bryce, talk to like the US, everyone, but then they pretty much betrayed them and tried attacking and taking over. Like, these Atlanteans are not that good. So then Bryce is like, I'm gonna go destroy them. So what Bryce did was she actually modified herself, went with Brainiac, used Brainiac stuff, modified herself to become like an Atlantean, and actually created the Dead Water. Now, the Dead Water is pretty much like all these different creatures that she can control. It helps her control the water, and it makes her faster when she goes against Atlanteans. Because she's pretty much like waging a war against Atlantis. And you can't just be a human, you can't breathe underwater and suspect yourself to, oh, I'm going to be all these Atlanteans. That doesn't work. But what she does is smart, because she makes herself like an Atlantean, she makes herself faster, and makes herself her own army. So she comes in pretty strong here. And we see her show up, she fights off against Aquaman, she's beating all these Atlanteans, killing them, and what she's doing with these Atlanteans is she's adding them to her army. Because the Dead Water, if it takes over you and kills you, then you come a part of the Dead Water, so it's more creatures to her side. But she goes toe-to-toe with the Aquawoman, and they're fighting. The Aquaman's kind of getting like hit a lot, and she thinks she's gonna win, but then Bryce pretty much stabs right through her heart and kills the Aquawoman right there, and it's a big splash page. Like, look at that, guys. That's crazy. But you see her, it's pretty wild, and you see the Aquawoman die, and Bryce is like, that was the day that I knew I had to keep protecting, and she pretty much drowned the whole Earth. Earth 11, in the Dark Multiverse, she drowned the whole place. Took it over, and she had her Dead Water. She pretty much like teamed up with Brainiac for a little, like not teamed up, but like used Brainiac's like technology to create herself like an Atlantean. Now you see her, she's pretty much the bottom of Atlantis. She got these Dead Waters, her whole army with her. She's at the top, she's just sitting there. She's like, she's feeling it, she's like, okay, I did it. And she creates a sign that's pretty much like a bat signal underwater. So imagine like a bat signal underwater shooting to the sky. So if there's any other people out there who want to like join her or join the Dead Water, they can. And then also if they come to fight her, she'll kill them and add her to her army. So she doesn't care about anybody. She like kind of wants to be alone. She wants to be left alone. And then we see that one day this like bat signal gets turned off, and that's when the Batman Who Laughs shows up. Now guys, this scene's pretty cool, because you see the Batman Who Laughs, he shows up, he's like, you just want to be alone, right? But there's a whole another Earth that you could drown yourself. Like, you're always thinking about going up to the light. Like, her whole philosophy is that pretty much the light at the top and pretty much above the water has taken everything from them. And everything at the bottom is pretty much the drowned. Everything that's drowned, and they're pretty much just dying, it's not going well. And Bryce is like, I want to seize the light and drown it so we're all equal. That's what Bryce is trying to do. But we see Bryce, she talks about in the last like, you want to be alone, I can get that, but there's a whole other world, we can go destroy it, so are you in? That's pretty much what he says. He's like, do you want to go destroy the light once and for all? And Bryce does that, and right before they leave, Batman Last shows like a big portal thing, shows all the evil Dark Knights, the dope image right there, and Bryce is convinced. She's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna destroy the light and go to MFC Bay, destroy all the Atlanteans, and work for Barbados. Now, and pretty much this is in hopes that she'll get her Earth back, but it'll be on her terms. So pretty much Barbados promised her that if all this stuff went through, she'll get her own Earth back, nobody will be dead, there won't be Dead Water, but they'll all be under her. So it's pretty much all the rules by her. So that's pretty good for her. But we see her, and she's talking to the Batman Last, and they go through the light. He makes it to the DC Universe. Well, Batman Last already makes it to DC Universe, but Bryce makes it to the DC Universe, and that's when we go back to that fight. And we see him fighting, she releases her Dead Water, and we see Aquaman getting dismantled again. We see Mera get grabbed by Bryce. Like, she grabs right out. Like, let's do it again. Grabs her right by the neck and pulls her. And Aquaman's like, get out, Mera. Go get the Justice League. I'll be fine here. But then he sees Mera pretty much getting turned to a Dead Water. She's getting pretty much infected. And we see Mera, she turns to a Dead Water. She's pretty much like a zombie. Like, that's a zombie. But we see Mera, she goes after Aquaman. Aquaman's like, no, he just saw the love of his life. Pretty much compared to like Bryce and her love of her life in a way die. And Aquaman's like, he's traumatized in a way. He's like, no, this can't be. But then as he's about to be dead and like pretty much consumed by the dead water, he's transported away by Dr. Fate. Now guys, Dr. Fate's a cool character. And he only shows up when like the fate allows him. So his whole like story is that if fate is going down the wrong direction, he has to show up and interfere. Now if fate is going down the right direction and bad stuff's happening, he can't interfere. When we see Dr. Fate, like the other evil Batman tie-ins, shows up, saves him, transports him away, and Bryce Wayne is like, dang, I was about to kill him. She's like, alright, you'll get to live another day, but you'll pretty much be traumatized with your wife, Mera, being turned into a dead wire, a part of my army. Now, we see pretty much it ends with Bryce, and she's there, and she sees the bat signal, she establishes it, and that's it. She ends there just smiling at the place, which is pretty big, guys, a big deal. But guys, that's the explained part of this issue, done, so pretty good issue, I liked it, but there's some flaws to that I'm going to explain my review. But yeah guys, let's get to my review of Batman the Drowned. So guys, this issue was pretty interesting. The whole thing about Bryce Wayne, she was modified, she came like Atlantean, killed, pretty much Aquaman stabbed her, and then coming like faster than them, working with Brainiac technology, and then going against Aquaman and Mera. That was pretty cool. Now the art was solid. It's not the best art, like I don't love the art, but it's still pretty solid and like conveys the story very well. But in terms of story, I think this is my least favorite of all the Dark Knights, like the evil Batman tie-ins, which are probably like, really? Like, this is your least favorite? The next one would probably be the Merciless, but the thing that saves that is Francis Manapul, because I think his art is better than the art in this issue. But here it's pretty simple. It goes by the same formula. Okay, she shows up to DC Universe, fights off against like the hero that is kind of like the hybrid of Batman Aquaman, so she fights off against Aquaman. Then mid-fight, we see her origin. Then they finish the fight, and that's it. That's all it is. And it goes by the thing that, okay, she had the fight, she transformed herself, fought off against like an Aquawoman, which is like a woman version of Aquaman. Then she went with the Bound Lass, Serge Barbaros. Like that's all fine. That's all fine, but I don't think it's super interesting. Like, yeah, I do like the part about her becoming Atlantean, modifying herself. That was cool, but I wish we got more like in depth. Like this issue was just like, this is just a halfway point. Like I know like it's hard to read like 42-page or 38-page comics, like those are longer, but I'd be down for it because it's better content compared to here where it's kind of just simple. It's a little generic, and I kind of see that in Dan Abnett. Like I said that at the beginning of this video, like some of his writing's amazing, but some of his writing's just kind of generic and I don't remember it. But in terms of the story, it's one of those, but still pretty solid. Like it's not bad. And it's not just okay, it's actually a good issue that I'm going to recommend. And that's why I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I do recommend it. And if you like this version of the character, tell me in the comment section below. Do you love it? Do you love the character? And you kind of mad at me like, hey, you didn't like this character that much? Like, no, I do like the character. Like, I like the character. But in terms of the story, it wasn't the best compared to the other evil Batman. Like, the Batman Red Death one was fascinating. The old Devastator, that was badass. And then seeing, like, pretty much the Batman Last, that's the best one. But this one, I'm just like, okay, I read it because it's part of the evil Batman tie-ins, not because it's his own book. Now, guys, that's pretty much the review. Tell me in the comment section below what you thought about this issue. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. And new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. So there's great Cheese Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. And guys, by the way, the next one will be Batman the Merciless, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, that's the video, and peace out.